There are moments in every person's life when reality becomes impossible to avoid. Moments when the future suddenly feels closer than ever before. For Princess Leonor, the heir to the Spanish throne, that moment may have arrived much earlier than it does for most people. Born into royalty, Leonor has spent her entire life preparing for responsibilities that most people can scarcely imagine. While many young adults are still deciding what they want to do with their lives, Princess Leonor has always known that her future carries a unique destiny. One day, she is expected to become Queen of Spain. But as she grew older, she faced a reality she could no longer ignore. The reality that her role as future queen was no longer a distant possibility, it was becoming her present. Today, we're taking a closer look at the challenges, responsibilities, and defining moments that have shaped Princess Leonor's journey and why many believe she has entered the most important chapter of her life so far. From the day she was born on October 31, 2005, Princess Leonor occupied a special place in Spain's royal family. As the eldest daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, she became first in line to the throne. Her position carried enormous significance not only for her family but for the future of the Spanish monarchy itself. Yet during her early years, much of this responsibility remained largely symbolic. Like many children, she attended school, spent time with friends, and enjoyed family activities. Although she lived under greater public attention than most children, she was still able to experience many aspects of a normal childhood. At least to some extent. As the years passed, however, expectations began to grow. The public watched her carefully. The media followed her development. Royal observers analyzed every appearance. And slowly, the reality of her future role became more visible. One of the first major signs came when she began participating in official royal engagements. For many people, attending public events may not seem particularly challenging. For a future queen, however, every appearance matters. Every gesture is observed. Every speech is analyzed. Every interaction contributes to the image people form of a future monarch. Princess Leonor gradually found herself stepping into situations that required confidence, maturity, and leadership. Qualities that are difficult enough for experienced adults. Yet she was expected to demonstrate them while still growing up. One moment that attracted significant attention was her increasing involvement in public speaking. Public speaking is often considered one of the most intimidating activities for young people. Imagine standing before national audiences knowing that your words will be broadcast across the country. Imagine understanding that millions of people may evaluate not only what you say but how you say it. This became part of Leonor's reality. Over time, she delivered speeches that impressed many observers. People praised her poise. They praised her confidence. They praised her professionalism. But these accomplishments also reflected something deeper. They showed a young woman beginning to accept the responsibilities that came with her future position. And that acceptance may have been one of the realities she could no longer ignore. Another important turning point came through education. Princess Leonor's educational path was carefully designed to prepare her for future leadership. Her studies exposed her to different perspectives, cultures, and experiences. These opportunities helped broaden her understanding of the world beyond palace walls. Yet education for a future monarch serves a different purpose than it does for most students. For many people, education helps them discover possible careers. For Leonor, education helps prepare her for a role that has already been determined. Every lesson carries added significance. Every experience contributes to her preparation as a future head of state. As she matured, the gap between preparation and reality began to narrow. The future stopped feeling distant. It started feeling immediate. This shift represents one of the greatest challenges facing any royal heir. Eventually, there comes a moment when ceremonial titles transform into genuine responsibilities. For Princess Leonor, that transition appears to be happening now. The public increasingly views her not merely as a royal teenager but as Spain's future queen. That perception changes everything. Expectations become higher. Scrutiny becomes more intense. Responsibilities become more serious. And opportunities to remain simply a private individual become increasingly limited. Another reality she likely faced involves the changing nature of modern monarchy itself. The world today is very different from the world previous generations of monarchs inherited. Modern audiences expect accessibility. They expect authenticity. They expect public figures to connect with ordinary citizens. Future monarchs must navigate social media, global attention, and rapidly changing public expectations. This creates challenges that previous generations never experienced. Princess Leonor belongs to a generation that understands these changes firsthand. Yet she must also uphold centuries of royal tradition. Balancing these two worlds is no easy task. Too much emphasis on tradition may seem outdated. Too much emphasis on modernization may concern traditional supporters. Finding the right balance requires judgment, patience, and adaptability. These are qualities Leonor continues to develop. Military training has also become a significant part of her preparation. For centuries, future Spanish monarchs have undergone military education as part of their development. This training symbolizes service, discipline, and commitment to the nation. For Princess Leonor, participating in military training represented more than simply following tradition. It demonstrated a willingness to embrace the responsibilities associated with her future role. Military life introduces structure, discipline, and challenges that differ greatly from royal ceremonies and public appearances. By participating in this environment, Leonor gained experiences that may help shape her future leadership. These experiences also reinforced an important reality. Becoming queen is not simply about titles. It is about preparation, it is about service, and it is about earning public trust. Another challenge involves personal identity. Most young adults spend years exploring who they are. They change interests, they make mistakes, they experiment with different paths. For Princess Leonor, this process unfolds under public observation. Every decision attracts attention, every appearance generates discussion, every milestone becomes news. Maintaining a sense of personal identity within such circumstances requires remarkable resilience. The reality she could no longer ignore may have been that privacy becomes increasingly difficult as royal responsibilities grow. As future queen, public interest in her life will likely continue expanding. This reality affects not only professional responsibilities but personal experiences as well. Yet despite these challenges, Leonor has consistently shown determination. Observers frequently comment on her composure during official events. They note her increasing confidence. They recognize her growing comfort in leadership roles. These qualities suggest someone adapting to extraordinary expectations. But adaptation does not mean that challenges disappear. Rather, it means learning how to carry them. Perhaps the most important reality Princess Leonor faces is understanding that leadership is ultimately about service. The crown itself is symbolic. What matters most is the responsibility behind it. Future monarchs must represent national unity. They must serve their country. They must inspire confidence during moments of uncertainty. These expectations can feel overwhelming. Yet they also provide purpose. Throughout history, successful leaders have often emerged from periods of preparation and challenge. The experiences Leonor faces today may ultimately shape the kind of queen she becomes tomorrow. Every speech, every public appearance, every educational experience, every act of service contributes to that process. And with each passing year, the future draws closer. For many observers, this is why Princess Leonor's journey has become so compelling. People are not simply watching a young royal grow up. They are watching the future of an institution take shape. They are witnessing someone gradually transform from a princess into a future monarch. And that transformation requires confronting realities that cannot be postponed forever. The reality of responsibility, the reality of public service, the reality of leadership, the reality of sacrifice. These are not easy burdens for anyone, especially someone so young. Yet Princess Leonor continues moving forward, embracing new responsibilities and demonstrating increasing confidence in her role. The reality she could no longer ignore may not have been a single event or dramatic revelation. Instead, it may have been a gradual realization. A realization that the future she had always prepared for was no longer far away. A realization that her responsibilities were becoming real. A realization that one day, Spain would look to her for leadership. And perhaps most importantly, a realization that preparation alone is not enough. Eventually, every future leader must step forward and begin living the role they have spent years preparing to fulfill. For Princess Leonor, that moment appears to be drawing closer with every passing day. As she continues her journey, the world will undoubtedly keep watching. But beyond the headlines and public ceremonies lies a young woman facing extraordinary expectations with determination, discipline, and grace. Whether speaking before national audiences, participating in military training, or representing Spain at official events, she is steadily preparing for the responsibilities that await her. The reality she could no longer ignore is the same reality that will shape her future. She is no longer simply preparing to become queen someday. She is already becoming the leader she may one day be called upon to be. And that journey is only beginning.